Good afternoon, colleagues. It's a privilege to speak with you today on a topic that bridges historical jurisprudence and modern litigation strategy, equitable remedies available to torts litigants in the state of Arizona. Let's begin by clarifying the distinction between legal and equitable remedies. Legal remedies are typically monetary in nature, damages awarded to compensate a plaintiff for harm suffered. These include compensatory damages, punitive damages, and nominal damages. Equitable remedies, by contrast, are non-monetary and discretionary. They are designed to achieve fairness when damages alone are inadequate. Examples include injunctions, specific performance, rescission, reformation, and constructive trusts. Legal Clarity 2025. The key difference lies in the nature of relief and the authority granting it. Legal remedies are a matter of right determined by injuries, while equitable remedies are granted at the discretion of judges, guided by principles such as irreparable harm, inadequacy of legal relief, and the maxim that he who comes into equity must come with clean hands. Arizona Judicial Branch 2024. Historically, equitable remedies trace their lineage to the English Court of Chancery, which emerged to address the rigidity of common law courts. In the American legal system, and specifically in Arizona, courts have merged in equity procedurally, but the subs- but the subs- but the substantive distinctions remain. Arizona courts retain the power to grant equitable relief when justice so demands, particularly in tort cases involving ongoing harm, unique property, or fiduciary breaches. Mitchell, 2023. Let's now explore some practical examples of equitable remedies in Arizona tort litigation. First, injunctions. There are court orders compelling or prohibiting specific actions. In tort cases, injunctions are often used to halt nuisance behavior, prevent defamation, or stop the misuse of proprietary information. Arizona courts recognize temporary restraining orders, preliminary injunctions, and permanent injunctions, each with distinct procedural requirements under Rule 65 of the Arizona Rules of Civil Procedure. Robert D. Mitchell, 2023. Second, constructive trusts. These are imposed when one party has wrongfully obtained property and equity demands in return. In tort contexts, constructive trusts may arise from fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, or unjust enrichment. The remedy does not depend on the existence of a formal contract, but rather on the equitable principle that one should not profit from wrongdoing. Third, rescission. This remedy cancels the transaction and restores the parties to their pre-contractual positions. Though often associated with contract law, rescission is available in tort cases involving fraud in the inducement or material misrepresentation. Arizona courts have affirmed rescission as a viable remedy when legal damages are insufficient and the plaintiff acted promptly upon discovering the harm. Carthers versus Underhill, 2014. Let's now examine two Arizona cases where equitable remedies were applied. The first is Stewart versus Sterling, number 1 CA-CV 13-0221. Arizona Court Application March 6, 2014. In this case, the plaintiff, Elizabeth Stewart, provided $55,000 to Sterling Mobile Services Incorporated, with no formal contract in place. When repayment was refused, Stewart sued for breach of contract and unjust enrichment. The court dismissed the contract claims as time-barred but upheld the unjust enrichment claim, awarding equitable relief. The ruling affirmed that equitable remedies remain available when legal claims fail, provided the plaintiff conferred a benefit and the defendant retained it unjustly. The second case is Carthers versus Underhill, number 1 CA-CV 12-0618, Arizona Court Application, April 3rd, 2014. This securities fraud case involved plaintiffs who sold shares in a closely held company based on misrepresentation. They sought rescission of the transaction. The trial court denied rescission, citing equitable defenses. However, the appellate court reversed, holding that rescission was improperly denied and that plaintiffs could pursue either damages or rescission. This case illustrates how Arizona courts balance equitable principles with procedural fairness, especially in torts involving fraud and fiduciary breach. These cases underscore a central theme. Equitable remedies in Arizona are not merely historical artifacts. They are dynamic tools for achieving justice in complex tort scenarios. Whether halting ongoing harm, restoring misappropriated assets, or unwinding fraudulent transactions, equity empowers courts to tailor relief to the contours of each case. In closing, I encourage young litigators to view equitable remedies not as secondary options, but as strategic instruments. Their availability depends not only on the fact but on timing, judicial discretion, and the ethical posture of the claimant. In Arizona, equity remains a living doctrine, responsive, principled, and indispensable. Thank you for your time. I'll now cite my resources in APA format. References include Arizona Judicial Branch 2024, Arizona Civil Procedure Rules, Carther versus Underhill, number 1 CA-CV 12-0618, Arizona Court App, April 3rd, 2014. Legal Clarity 2025, What is an Equitable Remedy in Law? Mitchell R.D. 2023, A Summary of Possible Arizona Claims for Relief. Stewart versus Sterling, number 1 CA-CV 13-0221, Arizona Court App, March 6th, 2014.